Welcome back to Just the Facts, the weekly vidcast from factcheck.org. I'm Emmy Kalawale, and we have a full slate of articles this week. But first, we're going to plug in the Fact Check Wire. We have an answer for those of you wondering if we'll do a candidate comparison chart. No, we're not the tip of the hat, wag of the finger types, and besides, it could look like an endorsement, and we don't do endorsements. Next, we noticed a misleading email from the McCain campaign that distorted our findings, falsely implying, again, that attacks on Sarah Palin were from Camp Obama when they were really a product of the internet rumor mill. Just think, in August, McCain said he didn't know what we were talking about.
Factcheck.org, the nonpartisan fact-checking website, has cited 8 or 9 of your recent ads as containing false or misleading information.
I don't respond to websites that I have no idea what they're talking about.
Now the campaign is quoting us in ads and emails. We wouldn't mind if they got it right, but distorting our findings gets a less than honest in our book. We also spoke with Alaska KTVA reporter Andrea Gusty this week, who sent us this photo taken in April showing Gusty standing alongside a very pregnant Governor Sarah Palin about a week before Palin gave birth to her son Trig. This should bring an end, finally, to the false rumor that Trig is the son of Palin's 17-year-old daughter, Bristol. We also addressed the claim that McCain's legislative efforts led to the invention of the BlackBerry. That is practically impossible, considering that the BlackBerry was invented in Canada. And we looked into whether he can type on a BlackBerry or a computer.
He admits he still doesn't know how to use a computer.
Some say this Obama ad mocks McCain for his war injuries that make it uncomfortable to type for the former POW. But McCain told the New York Times in July that he was learning to get online myself, and I will have that down fairly soon. Whether McCain can whip up a Java applet, we're not sure, but the fact is he's not as computer illiterate as he once was. We also tackle the claim that McCain has lobbyists working on his campaign.
John McCain's chief advisor lobbies for oil companies.
He doesn't. He's a former lobbyist now that the McCain campaign has barred all current lobbyists from working on the campaign. And that's it for The Wire, but we continue to address misleading and false claims on our main site, starting with this ad from the Obama campaign.
John McCain voted to cut education funding.
One of the 5 votes was actually in favor of increasing funding. It wasn't as much as Democrats wanted at the time, but that doesn't make it a vote for funding cuts. 3 other votes were against additional funding, not for funding cuts. Only 1 vote fit the bill, but the ad goes on.
He even proposed abolishing the Department of Education.
It's true McCain said he was in favor of getting rid of the Department of Education back in 1994 when the GOP gained control of the House and the Senate, but he has never acted on the idea. Next, we take a look at this claim from Sarah Palin during her interview with ABC News' Charlie Gibson.
Let me speak specifically about a credential that I do bring to this table, Charlie, and that's with the energy independence that I've been working on for these years as the governor of this state that produces nearly 20% of the U.S. domestic supply of energy.
That's way off. Alaska's share of U.S. energy production is 3.5%. and it accounts for only 2.4% of the energy we consume, according to official figures. The campaign says she meant to say Alaska produces 20% of the oil and gas produced in the U.S., but that's wrong too. It accounted for only 14% of the domestic oil and less than 2% of the natural gas last year. We've received a lot of questions about our methodology on this point, so before you fire off your email, we've popped the trunk and lifted the hood at The Wire at wire.factcheck.org so you can see our calculations. This next ad from McCain steps over the lip liner.
So they lashed out at Sarah Palin, dismissed her as good-looking.
Actually, Biden was hamming it up for the crowd when he called Sarah Palin good-looking. And the ABC story cited in the ad doesn't characterize his remarks as disparaging at all. But here, take a look for yourself.
Gigantic difference between John McCain and Barack Obama, and between me and I suspect my vice presidential opponent. And that is that, well, there's obvious differences. She's good looking. There's obvious differences, but there's a whole lot of, but where's that person? Who said that? Who said that? Would you say that again for my wife?
You are gorgeous.
Okay. You get the idea. But the ad goes on to say,
So they said she was doing what she was told.
that's wrong. The Politico report cited in the ad quotes Obama chief strategist David Axelrod as saying, she tried to attack Obama by saying he had no significant legislative accomplishments. Maybe that's what she was told. Clearly, Axelrod was talking about information conveyed to Palin, not what she was told to do. Finally, you may have forgotten about this book, Abomination by Dr. Jerome R. Corsi. Well, we haven't, and neither has the New York Times bestseller list, where it resides at number 2 behind Storytelling by Tori Spelling. We could have written a book of our own about the false and misleading claims in Dr. Corsi's book, but in the interest of time, we only took on a few, complete with footnotes, on our website at www.factcheck.org. That's it for this episode of Just the Facts. I'm Emmy Kalawale. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.